What is up, guys? It is your boy Royal Mech, and today I have my updated Wargreymon list. I went back to Wargreymon X build to see if I could make any changes I really care and feel confident about, and so I've come up with a new build. Hope you guys enjoy. So, to start, we are still running the 4 of BT5 Koromon. The additional draw is just really good for doing the minimal effort of swinging. Now, you can use the BT9 Agumon that gives 1000 DP. That is still up to you. I just feel comfortable getting more draw than the power, because this deck already gains nuts power anyway. On to the level 3s. 4 copies of the BT12 Agumon. This is your primary searcher. Gets you your Greymons as well as your tamers, primarily your ties, which we do run. And it does have the inheritable of giving your Digimon with Greymon or Omnimon 1000 DP, and it just will always be one of the staples of the deck unless we get a better one. Then 4 copies of the BT14 Agumon. Just like his predecessor that was shown, they both still evolve on Koromons for 0. This does have the main phase, of startup main phase. If you have a Tie Tamer in play, this can digivolve into a Greymon without paying the memory cost. So from 3 to 4, no cost. Make use of the rest of your memory for other things. Then it has the inheritable. During your turn, your Greymon and Omnimons gain 2k DP. This is way better than the original promo Agumon because it also affects Omnimons, not just Greymon anymore. So this definitely is a major replacement. Last but not least, we do, as usual, in the red base, play 4 copies of the Agumon X Antibody. Digivolves on Agumons for 0. Searches the top 3 for a Greymon or the X Antibody or Omnimon. Really good, still stable. Great card advantage when you do the Digivolution, but the on play just as well gets the searches. So you just have to play it where the scenario allows. On to my level 4s. We do 3 copies of Starter Deck Greymon. I was originally running this at 4, but to make room for another Greymon, I buffed this. I pushed this down 1. Still a good number. You're not really going to complain about it, so there's no real reason to go any higher. You'll still be able to find it through your searches. Easily grabbable, but the other one is also more early game usable, so it at least gives you better play options in the long run. Speaking of earlier, we run 3 copies of the BT12 Greymon, who digivolves on an Agumon for 2 cost, and has the Digivolution play of on Digivolution. If you don't have a Tie Kamiya in play, play one. Play one from hand. And then the inheritable during both players' turns, your Greymons and Omnimon gain 1000 DP. So it's pretty stable for why I'm running this at 3. 2, you rarely see it. 3 at least gives you the higher probability of seeing it and allow you to play it so you can get your Tie Tamers off and do what gotta be done. Next, we still play the traditional 4 Greymon X Antibody. Have to, Um, the protection's really good. We just only have one ofs on the other one, and if we did have that as a four of, this would not be played at all. But this is still good. And yes, I know you've just seen almost everything all targeted. I have to wait on these. Then, last but not least, for the level fours, one copy of Greymon X. The This Greymon X is probably the best one for building a tower, um, giving you that -2 reduction on your Metal Greymon. So it's a one of. It's just one cost, so it's just great. The easy slide under of the X antibody to make it a really easy protection to keep is awesome as well. It is understandable why this was hit, primarily so the Metal Greys couldn't get out of hand, but still, great card. No complaints. Next up, we play only 3 copies of the BT12 Metal Greymon. This is obviously the best Metal Greymon in the game. Has the raid ability, and then on all turns, once per turn, if an attack is target is switched, you can play a red or black tamer of 4 cost or less. So just easy access to your tie tamer some more. Then it gives Greymon and Omnimon's piercing, so you just get great advantage from this. Yeah, no complaints. If you're playing anything less than 3, you're probably playing the defensive build, but I'm playing more on the aggression side, so 3 or more is pretty much the golden rule. Now, my reason for running 3 is I am playing 1 copy of the starter deck Metal Gray from the black base deck. Now, my reason for this is because he does evolve on Greymons for 3, and he has blocker, and that blocker's the reason why. If you can't climb higher, this is a great way to end a turn. Being at an 8k, not many things are going to be able to push through it, so they're going to have to either burn their entire turn getting rid of this tower, and if you do have protections under it already, they have to put more effort getting rid of it. As well, if this does get to live and you continue the tower up, it also has security attack +1, thus meaning your tower just has more aggression and offensive pressure. So that's why it's put out 1. It is an 8 KDP, which is actually pretty high for a level 5. And being it's a blocker with that, and the possibility of the red-black line of Agumon or Greymon could make it in under him, making it a possible 10k max before any ties are involved, is just really good early game to keep your opponent's aggression low. Then we do play the 3 Metal Greymon X. Nothing really much to say. We've used this for a long time now. Giving that additional 3k and security attack +1 when everything goes right is just really pressuring, especially when the 3k lasts to the end of your opponent's turn, thus making it harder for the PM to kill your Metal Greys or your Wargreys higher up on the line. And then we do play the 1 copy of the Alteris mode. He's primarily in here just to be an additional protection generator. He does carry the Greymon X ability of plus the protection ability. So we're two sources at the same level, keep you good. But it also on Digivolve can just get rid of a 5k body so it can help slow down. But you primarily want to use it for the protections, so we still keep it at 1. On to our level 6s. We play 3 copies of BT12 Wargrey. This is obviously still the best Wargreymon in the game for the vaccine line. I originally was only running it at 2, but I saw the issue of my games were too short and I was left open too much. So we went back to this one to keep reduce being left open, and I have not regretted it yet. Being able to get your necessary hits in and your protections just do wonderful. The additional 3K gets and the reboot on Digivolution just makes this one of the best blockers in the game when Ty is involved. So never going to put him less than 3 again. Oops, drop the Wargrey. Then we play only 1 copy of the BT14 Wargrey. His purpose is to be a last resort. If you have nothing left on board to really do, your tower is able to get to a 6, but then your turn is this the best option possible. So to make sure your turn finishes with a high note. This has actually saved me against a Death X. Opponent had a Death X on board. I didn't have a way to shut out anything, but I was strong enough to kill it. So this on top attacked into a Death X with piercing, extra security attack, cleared that out, and then my opponent had to slowly build back up to a decent board state because he couldn't get rid of this from doing anything on the next turn. And it definitely saved me. But it also was able to X evolve for this. And that made it better because I got to at least save a little more of my turn beforehand. And then, speaking of X Evolve, we do play 2 copies of Greymon X Antibody. This card is actually still one of the strongest X's in the game. I would say there isn't a X evolution stronger outside of the Greymons from recent the Garurumons from Coliseum. This guy just works perfectly for what Greymon was missing at the time, and that has yet to be a hindrance. So being able just to gain memory whenever your opponent removes security, be it you or them, is just crazy and fun. Then on your turn, here's the thing. Because a lot of misconception was around at first that if he blocked, his effect would trigger on your opponent's turn. That is not how that works anymore. It was expressed that you don't get to do it on your opponent's turn, but on your turn, as long as the battle ended and he's still alive, kill something. I think that reconfirmed a couple times because I had him in a blocker state and we thought I could just keep killing while blocking. Nope. But that's why we have a Victory Greymon for. You guys saw that original list. I am still trying to tinker with another list for it. And so when I've gotten a better list built for that, I will definitely fill you guys in on the good stuff. Because I do feel Victory Grey is actually the better deck to run in this EX5, BT15 climate because of how wide decks are going now. So we will get back to that deck again, and I will have another build I've thought of doing. Now, after that, let's go into the 6s. For the 6s, one Blitz Omni. It's generic. Always good to do your finisher. No complaints. It reboots first. If you want, you can swing. If you don't, you just get to leave it. So there's nothing wrong there. And then I do the 1-1 package. So we do go ahead and play the better Omnimon Hex. This just is a great finisher too on top of Blitz, where you just get to remove another security, and if it's the last one, okay, you've just won. Helps with board control at the same time. This is actually the better one of the two, and it takes less setup to get into because you don't really need the EX antibody in place to do his effect. You just need to have 6s in the Evo sources. So now on to the options. I play 3 copies of Offense Training. This is a really good early game searcher. The assistance to the Evo costs in general just as good for every deck. So I do play it at 3 primarily so there's space for other cards. Not entirely wanting to leave any slots open. Next, 2 copies of the X antibody. Really strong. You need this for your X lines. It just helps make your aggression turns more flexible because now you don't have to waste an Evo when you have a card that had a better on attack effect before the X Evo. So this definitely helps. In security, this gets you a memory back so your opponent can't just be aggressive. Then last but not least, I went back to running 2 copies of Hades Force. Now, part of me is stating one of these can go to put back in another training, because then this is a searchable item. I can search this item through training, but 2's looking more to be the safe bet due to how tamer reliant some of these bigger meta decks are getting, and I want to be able to at least see one in hand to help deal with the issues. That's why I'm at 2. I might change it back to 1 because you really only need this to burst off 1 time, and it causes enough damage as is. Then, last but not least, we do have our Tamers. So we're going to play only 2 copies of the BT1 Tai Kamiya. He's your memory tamer. If you have 4 or more Evo sources, your red Digimon gains security attack +1. Not really much to complain. With Greymon, you're definitely going to have the 4 or more Evo sources, and then you just get to go off on the Nexus security. If the tower is built right, you get about 3 security checks, so for 4 damage. Yeah, 4 damage on average. With the black metal gray, you can get a full 5. It's just nuts, but you don't have piercing, so that's when you would want to go into the BT14 when that situation's available, because then you do have the piercing from the on swing, which then if you were to X evolve, you would then get the additional. So with BT14 Greymon, you're looking at actually looking at about 6 security gone on first swing, because you have BT14 Greymon swing 4 being 2, the Metal Gray X being 3, the Metal Gray, the Black Metal Gray being 4, the security start deck Greymon being 5, and then Tai being 6 security. If you X evolve, that 6 security gives you 5 memory back on average, and then with all the protections, you're pretty much straight, right? So, really good. Always will stay. There's yet to be a tie that can replace him, so he's always going to be here. Unless BT17 comes up with a better tie than this. But we don't know yet. If you saw my recent video, we did get revealed the new Greymon. So, that new Greymon is nuts. So, seen the video? Cool. If you haven't, check it out. I will put a link in the description down below, because that Greymon honestly changes this deck altogether. Then, last but not least, we do run our 3 copies of the B212 tie. Still really good. This honestly replaced Cool Boy in instance of usage, but if I had the space, I would put in Cool Boys. 1 memory, suspends 1 memory for evolving on play and start a main. Give your Agumon or Greymon blocker and 1000 DP that lasts to the end of your opponent's turn. That's just really good advantage, and it's only for a 3 drop, so no complaints. And yeah, like I said, any changes you want to make will most likely be in your options. So, once again, if anything, if you want, you can replace one of the Hades forces into another offense training. I'm probably going to test that this week as a one-of, because really I need this to trigger 1 time and then you're pretty much good against most decks. So we'll probably test it as a one-of and see what happens. Or you can leave this at the 2-of and be fine. The only thing you cannot put lower than 2, once again, is the X antibody, because the deck really needs these and they're needed to survive. I do hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, this Saturday will be our first live stream on YouTube. So I do hope you guys come on, swing through to support. We are going to be starting our playthrough of Digimon Cyber Sleuth. So come join. I will be accepting the comment section's input on party creation. So if you have a favorite Digimon you want to try to force into the party to be played with the entire way through, speak it up through there. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Peace.